that, I would like to introduce Impart Hedera. Welcome, Impart. Who do we have representing you today, and how are you doing tonight?
Hey guys, this is Liam here. Thanks so much for having me up. It's a real pleasure, and I think that you guys are doing incredible things for Hedera, and we've really enjoyed our dialogues with you so far, so thanks for having us. I'm not sure if that was my cue to give an intro, but I think I'll save you the trouble. I am a business owner and musical artist from Cape Town, South Africa, and I've been in the music industry for 21 years now. And the whole concept of Impart kind of stemmed from the fact that I have a degree in classical composition, and yet I can't earn a living that can sustain a family doing what I love doing. And what I've seen throughout my 21-year artistic career is thousands of other people who feel the same way, that we've dedicated our lives to doing and creating and living and breathing exceptional art and like giving our souls to that. And yet there's no industry for us to thrive in. And so if I had to like sum up my background, it would really be that like I love music. I love composing music. I love writing music. And yet I've had to own a DJ company and play commercial music for audiences late at night, sometimes even to the detriment of my health, in order to make a living and to get by. And so there's always been this longing inside of me to play music and write music. And I know that if I dedicated my life to that, I could probably find some success in that for me. But then what about the other 1 million plus artists who also dedicated their lives to their art form and didn't get that opportunity, didn't get the opportunity to own a business, didn't get the opportunity to study music, didn't get the opportunity to play gigs, DJ gigs during high school, during university, release with prominent record labels, be an A&R manager. What about all of those artists? And I'm not just talking about musical artists. I'm talking about all kinds of creative art. And so I guess like in my essence, I'm somebody who really kind of stands for the artistic industries and wants them to thrive. And I do my best in what I do here in South Africa to achieve that. And I'm looking forward to hopefully doing that further through Impart and hopefully with the help of HeadStarter.
You know, Liam, whenever I listen to you, it's great to feel how you exude the passion for music. And personally, I'd love to hear more about from Liam, the person, in terms of your background. Could you maybe walk us a bit more through some of the proudest moments in your musical career?
Sure. So most of my life is spent traveling the Western Cape, performing DJ sets for large corporates. You'll probably recognize names such as Amazon, Woolworths, Total Energies, the building company that's Buco, etc. I could go on. So I play for a lot of large corporates, commercial music, music that I don't particularly love, but I've managed to kind of get a silver lining out of it by playing for the audience and making what I do about, giving people a good time and giving through what I do rather than focusing on kind of the lacking creative elements of it. But I guess my career started off when, in a way, my grandparents said that I was drumming on my cot just after I was born, which is hilarious. But my parents bought me a MIDI keyboard when I was 10 years old. And I just became fascinated with this thing. I would sit in my garage and the screen would light up when you played preset songs, and it would show you which keys were playing in the song. And I knew nothing about music. And I guess one of my proudest moments is sitting at that MIDI keyboard when I was 10 years old, knowing nothing about music, and watching those keys light up and just feeling so in awe. Like, what are these magical notes? What are these sounds? And I didn't know back then that I had synesthesia. So I have the ability to quite literally visualize sound in shapes and colors that are indescribable. You could never put them on a canvas. But the sound was so fascinating to me. And I would sit there learning these pieces that way. And fast forward 10 plus years, I was studying music at the University of Cape Town. I had completed grade 7 level piano in high school, with 100% for my examination, leaving my high school with the piano prize for best pianist at my school. And, that was starting pretty late. And I actually played other instruments in junior school. And in high school, when I started off, I played the flute and the drum kit. So piano actually kind of properly came into the picture a little later, although I was fascinated with the keyboard at first and took keyboard lessons. But during high school, kind of a parallel world was that I became obsessed and fascinated with electronic dance music. It was like something that really captivated me, and I loved the sound of it and really the visual sound of it, if I can put it that way. And my friends and I would go to like under 18 nightclubs, and one of my friends was a DJ there, and he kind of eventually said, hey, you should try it, because I was like really fascinated by what he was doing. And he had virtual DJ at his house one night, and I kind of played on virtual DJ for like 30 minutes and then went to the club and played on real equipment for the first time ever, with literally 30 minutes of virtual DJ experience. And that was definitely a highlight for me. And that was like 13 years old, literally shortly before my 14th birthday. And it was wild. I played so badly, but it was like the time of my life, being up on the stage in front of an audience. And shortly after that, I downloaded some production software and started producing music. And I had the honor of releasing some chart-topping tracks. I've charted on Beatport with artists like Skrillex and Knife Party. And I've received millions of plays across platforms on my music under my alias Embrace One. I've worked as an A&R manager with a record label called High Intensity Records and Trap and Bass, which is one of the signature trap and bass labels in the world. And I've performed in Zurich as a DJ internationally, performed all around South Africa, and as a pianist I've had the honor and privilege of recording and performing at some of the most notable venues in South Africa as a pianist. And I've released 10 albums as a musician with Cape Town Sound Studios in South Africa, featuring on Fine Music Radio regularly on their People of Note, etc. So yeah, plenty in the past, and yet I find myself kind of setting all that aside so that I can focus on the vision that is Impart right now. I'm still practicing the piano. I'm still, doing DJ gigs. I had one last night and the night before, but really I'd say my primary focus now is building this platform that is going to make a change for people so that they don't have to do what they don't want to do. If I had it my way, I'd be, touring the world on the kind of concert stages, improvising on the piano. But, that's not the life for me right now, although perhaps in a few years I'll be able to enjoy some form of luxury in that regard. As I said, is like, a vision to create a platform for creatives where they can do what they love and not be influenced by the economic machine. In other words, I'm not writing music, or I'm not creating this sculpture or painting this painting so that I can please people or so that I can put money on the table. I'm creating this so that I can truly express something that is meaningful to me and hopefully move others and the world. And at the same time, I can actually earn a living to support a family doing that. So no such platform exists in the world that is widely available to creatives, where they can go and they can know that this is a place for me to thrive and grow. And the method to solve that issue has been something I've turned around my head for something like 4 to 5 years now. It really has been something, because especially when COVID happened, which was around 3 years ago now, I think, our whole industry shut down. The creative industries didn't exist. And it was like, wow, here's some time to reflect on how things really are. And so we were initially going to do a documentary, and then we thought about this structure to support artists that had nothing to do with blockchain. Then we thought about doing it on the BSC in 2021. And then we didn't do it on the BSC because the BSC just wasn't optimal. And I know that one of the questions tonight is why choose Hedera, and I can't wait to get into that because it really does enable us to do what we want to do. But fast forward to now, we find ourselves with kind of a really refined concept of how to re-engage people and get them interested in art again. Because ultimately the problem is that people don't care about true meaning in art anymore. They don't care about the music they listen to. They don't really care about the art they're looking at for more than a few seconds, right? We live in a kind of culture economy of instant gratification. And so people, tend to have a 7-second attention span and not really think too much about what they consume. So how do you solve a problem like that? Well, you have to kind of incentivize people, in our view, to go and consume that art. They're consuming it easily on these massive platforms like Spotify, like YouTube, like Netflix, etc. Art has become highly accessible. but they consume it without thinking. So Impart is aiming to incentivize fans to engage with art and the artists that created that art. And it's doing that using various elements of Web3 technology, which is really exciting. So hope that sums it up well.
Yeah, I think it does. I personally love it. Could you tell us a bit more about what are the achievements so far when it comes to Impart the way it is today? You obviously have come into the Hedera scene over the past few months and really started to capture the attention of everybody, and it's a great showing. I personally remember, Liam, we might have first talked when sometime in December, but ever since you've been doing an amazing job. So how do you feel about the project's journey so far?
Thanks, Tudor. And I hope we get time to kind of go deeper into the model, because I know that in that pitch I didn't quite articulate the model itself, as I'm hoping that we can get into that further shortly. But essentially, yeah, we wanted to kind of take the space by storm. And so when I say we, I mean my partner, Daniel Jenkins, and me. Daniel is in the audience listening now. He has very kindly allowed me to kind of front run and do this and represent Impart. And we wanted to take the space by storm in several ways. So like we wanted to come in and kind of, we very much view ourselves as kind of light bringers. So we want to impart, if you will, kindness and camaraderie in the Hedera space, and to become a support system for creative projects. As much as we want to build a platform for creatives, we want to support people now. So, apart from the fact that there's the DJ company in South Africa and there are several achievements there, and we trade as the DJ company and we provide artists with job opportunities in South Africa, that's very separate to Impart, although our registered company here called Impart Productions does that, and we've provided opportunities for, I'd like to think, maybe even more than 1,000 artists at this point in the kind of course of the business, and that's all local. But we want to take that broader. And so we came into the Hedera space with this mindset of like, let's help people. Let's immediately help creatives and not ask them for anything. So, we started hosting our own live spaces on X. We started a podcast. We started a what we think is a revolutionary meme coin called Trash Artists. And it's all about how artists have been trashed, and now all everyone listens to and consumes is trash as a result. And it's like provocative and in your face, and it allows us to kind of have a marketing funnel into Impart, because it's like the official meme coin of Impart. Obviously, with a professional brand, you're limited in how you can market and reach people. You have to remain professional, especially with the kind of vision that we have. So yeah, and we've had the pleasure of obviously speaking with HeadStarter. We've had the pleasure of speaking with May from Hashpack, having her on the podcast, having Manu on the podcast, having Earthlings Land on the podcast, Thrive Hedera. We've been very graced by New and Manu from Kabila. They've let us in like every open mic to speak, and we've had the opportunity to really grow and like nurture relationships with people, and people are showing interest in what we're doing. And to us, that's really important, because we're not going to be able to change the creative world if people aren't actually interested in making that change with us. But what we're seeing, which we've never seen before, it's unusual as an artist to see people really interested in like your benefit, and we're seeing that in Hedera. People seem to really care about this message and this mission, and that's really encouraged us to see. And so, yeah, we've had the pleasure of, there's the echo again. We've had the pleasure of speaking with some prominent people, collaborating with some prominent people, and we are like geared for our NFT release in March this year. And we're looking forward to hopefully raising the funds that are going to allow us to take on this issue that we're aiming to face head on.
Very cool. In March. So you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. There might be some exciting stuff coming from Impart through an NFT collection in the month of March. So we're just a few weeks ahead of that event. You did mention that Hedera is you find it as a very nurturing space. Obviously, Kabila also is built to cater for creators, and we've had this whole trends over the past few years about NFT artists being empowered through the Hedera ecosystem, and we've seen multiple iterations of art, multiple versions of artists, the way that they perceive their craft come to life in Hedera through the power of the Hedera community and ecosystem that is really, really happy to see a lot of creators find a home here. Do you mind telling us a bit more about how you see Impart Hedera model actually working to support the vision that you have set for it?
100%. So as I said before, the only way we see to reignite people's interest in true creativity is to actually incentivize them to be interested in it, because people tend to only pay attention to things that they are actually invested in. So in a nutshell, we are building a multimedia application, or at least we aim to build a multimedia application that runs on anyone's mobile phone, where you can stream music, listen to audio, read ebooks, listen to podcasts, watch videos, view content, view digital NFT art and artworks, and shop all in one. And we want to create an investment layer underneath that on the hash graph that allows any creative on the platform to tokenize themselves and their work as NFTs and sell those to the public. And by selling them to the public, they raise money to do what they love, and they incentivize and tokenize their community to support them, because now their community holds NFTs that represent their creative work and that represent them as artists. And what we're hoping, which we will need regulatory approval for before we can implement, is that we can actually allow on the hash graph for creatives to mint NFTs that constitute revenue shares in their streams on the app. So if I get 1 million streams on the Impart DApp, we're thinking of calling it Takova or something like that. But if we're on the Impart DApp, whatever it may be called, and I am a musical artist and I get 1 million plays, firstly, I'll get a large portion of those 1 million plays as a musical artist, because the platform isn't going to take an unreasonable fee. It's non-custodial, so there's not going to necessarily be a record label or anything like that. People can upload directly to the application. And then I can mint an NFT that represents, let's say, an album. And I can sell those NFTs to my fans. And if they hold those NFTs, when I get my next 1 million plays, then the holders of those NFTs will receive X% of my streaming revenue automatically on the hash graph. If I'm a clay artist and I make sculptures, the holders of my NFTs will receive X% of the sales that I make on the Impart DApp. If I am a digital NFT artist, when people buy my NFTs, then my holders will receive X percentage of revenue of those sales of those digital NFTs. If you're watching a video, then you might invest in the producer or the director of that video. And when they get streams on that video, you will then get a revenue share in those streams. And that's ultimately what we are aiming to do with the Impart DApp. And we truly believe that such an application could become the most popular media streaming application in the world, because I think that people are becoming interested in investing in people instead of investing in companies. And when you're investing in creatives, you're not just investing in a digital asset that, has to go up in the bull run. You're investing in a human being that is growing and creating and working and has a passion and a dream and a mission. And so you don't really have to worry about whether that NFT goes up or down in value, because it's giving you passive income. And so that's ultimately what we want to achieve. Now, all of this, once again, is heavily reliant on global regulatory approval to get this sorted out. But we're seeing the world shift to a place where cryptocurrencies are not really being considered securities. And I think that there's a pretty good shot for us to do this properly. And the hash graph is the only technology in the world that would allow us to process millions of transactions sharded a second. Let's say we wanted every play, every stream to instantly be split between multiple NFT holders on the platform. You would need the hash graph to do that. You would need fixed dollar costs and a highly scalable system. And we don't see any other system in the world that is capable of doing that in Web3.
I love it that you were able to address all the questions that I had prepared. When you look at the current landscape regulatorily, you have meme coins that are permanently addressed and as not securities. And you've had these experiments around social tokens for the longest time. And we've had also other SocialFi experiments, different dApps that where you could have and trade tokens of different creators and influencers, and it's a ripe time to be able to deliver on such a project, and I hope that you will be successful in your journey. So you did touch upon why Hedera, what's next in the next few weeks and months for Impart. Is there any other thoughts that you want to leave us with, Liam, today?
For sure. Assuming this is the wrap up, obviously, thanks so much for, doing this with us. This is the first time that we're really going public with our true mission and explaining what we're doing. And it's a real honor to be able to do it with you guys. You're obviously a very established platform, and we really appreciate the support. We've been invited on Genfinity for all hands on deck on Monday to talk about our project and our vision, similarly to what I've just done. And we're just so thrilled about that. So that's going to be huge for us because I believe it's a very prominent platform. I'm not too familiar with it myself, but I've heard it's quite prominent. So similar to what we're doing tonight. So that's something to look forward to. And then we're going to be minting our 100 INO Pass NFTs and selling them on March 2nd to 100 whitelisted users for 1,000 HBAR per NFT. This early access pass is going to give people a plethora of benefits on the Impart dApp and in the Impart ecosystem. I can't say that we will be able to get something like a revenue share implemented, although that's something that we're definitely interested in implementing. But if anything, the NFT will act as a white key to claim 1,000 Impact tokens when we launch our native token in May. The Impact token will be the native token of the Impart dApp, which will function primarily in the background because we want people to be able to use our application like any other application using fiat currency. But the Impart token will ultimately be the facilitator of the entire dApp and all the micro transactions and payments. And so this NFT will be a white key for that. It will constitute airdrops of further Impart NFTs when we collaborate with artists and we tokenize them. You'll get airdrops of their NFTs, which have benefits such as free merch, free concert tickets, whatever they may choose to make benefits. And you'll have private access to our plazas in Kabila to get secret information on the project, etc. And so on March, we're going to be selling 50 of those NFTs on Kabila. We're minting them all on Kabila, but we're only selling 50 on Kabila, and we're selling 50 on Centex because we want to support both platforms who have supported us. And then once again in May, we're launching our Impact token, which we're going to sell privately and publicly. So keep a lookout for that. And hopefully by January next year, we can be finished with this app and ready to launch it. Would be absolutely amazing. Thanks, Tudor.